Guess who's back? Back again. Please subscribe. Tell a friend. This is Musings from the Mountains, a video podcast presented by WVSports.com. Got some stuff to talk about today. We'll get into it. Some breaking news today on the recruiting front. We'll talk a little bit about Junior Day. And, of course, the Big 12 SEC Challenge, where West Virginia is trying to reverse their fortunes. I'm Managing Editor Keenan Cummings.
And I'm Staff Writer Patrick Kotnik.
Let's jump straight into the news today on the recruiting front. West Virginia has a running back commitment. It's not Lamy Constant. It's not LaDamian Webb. No, it's not. It's A'varius Sparrow. Running back from Orlando has a really interesting story. He's kind of emerged in the last couple weeks. With Webb looking more like he's going to Florida State, West Virginia turned their attentions onto Sparrow, and it paid off. He took a visit this past weekend, committed to West Virginia, made it public today. So I think that is a big pickup for West Virginia. His story is interesting in the fact that he's only played football for a couple years and actually started out as a linebacker. You watch his tape, it's hard to believe that, but this past year for Jones in Orlando, he rushed for over 2,000 yards and 26 touchdowns. He was basically their entire offense, led him to a state title game. So a big pickup, Patrick, at a position of need.
Yeah, you just mentioned a must get for West Virginia in this 2020 class. Now up to 20 commitments in this 2020 class, considering that they only had 3 scholarship running backs on the roster: Tony Mathis, Luddy Brown, Alex Singfield. This was a must get in terms of depth.
Yeah, I think West Virginia is able to address the position. I asked Neil Brown on signing day, what do they need to address in the late period? He said, we got to sign a running back in February. It was pretty obvious. They turned their attention to a couple of guys. Sparrow was right at the top of that list, and now they kind of got their guy. You feel good about that, and recruiting is going to shift a little bit. You'll still have a couple guys. They have 3 scholarships available now, 2 if you count Gamble. So you'll look at a couple positions. They're going to address the offensive line, of course. Maybe 1, maybe 2 guys there. Got some linebackers they're looking at. 1 possibly visiting this weekend. In Jordan Ingram. There's a couple of other guys they can look at as well, but that stuff's going to unfold. That's the nature of recruiting now. Most of this stuff is done early. December is the new February in a sense. You're going to have most of your guys in the fold then, and then it's kind of the stragglers, transfers, other guys you're going to add late. But speaking of early recruitment, West Virginia's going to have their second Junior Day this weekend. A lot of talented players already expected on campus. Justin Johnson, running back from Illinois. Go down the list. Malik Newton, another running back. Trenton Adkins, James Gillespie, defensive lineman that's already visited West Virginia. Of course, the in-state prospects are expected, which is always a plus if you're West Virginia. You want to get those guys on campus as much as possible. These Junior Days are really positive, really generating some positive momentum for West Virginia on the recruiting trail. They bring the kids in, kind of give them a West Virginia football 101. Whether they've been there or not. They get to talk to the coaches, they get to see the campus, the facilities. There's no pressure. It's really kind of an introductory class into West Virginia. I think that if you noticed how this staff recruited last class, not as many early commitments. They really kind of push to get to know guys, feel comfortable with guys, and then they'll take their commitment. That's not to say there won't be some, but I think it's important to realize that the value of these events is purely getting some of these talented players on campus.
Yeah, for most of these guys, this is the first time they'll step foot in Morgantown. It'll be the first time really seeing the program up close and all that. So it's really important for this coaching staff to, like you said, Keenan, just give them a whole introduction class on West Virginia, Morgantown, the program, the history and tradition and all that. And a lot of times, especially we've seen with this new coaching staff, we've seen a lot of guys become very impressed after this first visit. They really get to see. They really get to see the program up close and gain more knowledge about it.
Yeah, and for some of these guys, it'll be multiple visits, which is always a plus. The more visits you get, the better it is. I've always said, for as long as I've been doing this, that at West Virginia, you get them on campus, you have a chance. And that's really played out through Dana Holgerson's tenure, and especially now with Neil Brown. What they did last class impressed me. I'm excited to see how things unfold in this one, because they're on some big-name guys, and they've been on some big-name guys, and they've already gotten some of them on campus 4 or 5 times. Basketball, West Virginia is looking to get off the old schneid in the SEC Big 12 Challenge against Missouri. It's a team they've played. They actually have lost to Missouri in this challenge. West Virginia's 1-5. They're the only team in the Big 12 that doesn't have at least 3 wins in this. If I ask you that trivia question, you probably wouldn't have answered West Virginia, would you? No. It's kind of phenomenal because during that span, West Virginia's been to 3 Sweet 16s, pretty much had a winning record most of those years, and has just not found a way to win games. They've lost close ones in Morgantown. They've been blown out on the road. They get Missouri, though, a different Missouri team. This is a 9-9 team. They're around 82 in the net right now. When your calling card is you set an NCAA record for making most consecutive free throws at 54, probably not the best thing. If that's the most positive thing people are talking about right now about the Missouri basketball program. But this is the third year under Coach Martin. They're still trying to figure some stuff out. They've had some personnel losses over the past couple years. So it'll be interesting to see how West Virginia handles this environment at home, and can they finally get another win in this pack.
Yeah, I mean, if you're West Virginia, one thing you can't do against this Missouri team, they're 13th in the country in free throw percentage. You can't, put them to the line a lot. They'll make you pay for it. But if you're West Virginia, you just got to play your game. They got to build off the momentum that they just got from that big win over Texas. Play that brilliant half court defense and create scoring opportunities on the opposite end of the floor.
Missouri's got 2 players in double figures right now. They shoot about 60. They score about 67 points a game. Shoot about 41% from the floor. So West Virginia's defense versus their offense, I think you feel good about the defense of West Virginia if they show up. Defensively, we'll see what happens. I think that this is a game West Virginia should win. Prediction time. I'm going to ad-lib a prediction here. I think West Virginia does win.
I agree. I say they win by at least 15.
Yeah, I think West Virginia comfortably wins this, gets themselves out of that bag of despair that this has been for them. I mean, I don't think really Bob's that much worried about it. I mean, it's more made for TV than anything, but still, you like to see West Virginia do well in things they participate in. And getting another win in this would get you one step closer to the rest of the conference. Mm-hmm. Let's just say that. Thanks for tuning in again. This is your first time watching, hit subscribe. I kind of gave you the little wrap at the starting if you didn't get the message, but we're going to continue to do this and bring you more stuff and continue to expand this in the coming weeks. But thanks for tuning in again. This has been another fun-filled edition of Musings from the Mountains.